For 35 years. I went to Oakland University. My wife and I have lived in Rochester and Rochester Hills, our entire marriage, and the community is important to us. The paper has been online since January of 2010, and we started out just wanting to cover maybe City Hall, school board meetings. We've branched out a little bit. I tend to cover, like I said before, some local politics and also some national and regional politics from time to time. And interestingly, my daughter lives in Madison, Wisconsin, so we've even reported live from Madison, Wisconsin, some of the things that have been going on there with Governor Walker and some of the labor issues that have been going on in Madison. More so than some of the other local papers. There's another AOL venture that's come into town. There's the Rochester Post, the Lifestyles. They don't really tend to go into depth on stories, and I think one of my that I really like to do is to talk to our local politicians, ask them some of the harder questions that sometimes they don't get asked when they're talking to maybe a little bit more friendly journalist. Some hard questions, and act as an overseer over local government too. I would encourage people to get into it. I wouldn't encourage you to get into it to make a lot of money. I think it's important that you do it more out of a sense of, partly a sense of duty. Partly you want to make sure that the people that live in your community are well informed about what's going on. People tend not to pay attention to their local politicians, their local government too much. They just assume everyone is doing what they're supposed to. To give you an example, there was a story in a local newspaper. In fact, they won a Pulitzer Prize in L.A.
Yesterday I heard they were talking about local political corruption. Not to say we have that necessarily going on here, but I think it's important to keep an eye on your local politicians, make sure everything is transparent and that they're paying attention to the citizens. Like what happened with the water reservoir issue. The city of Rochester Hills was moving full steam ahead with that project, and it wasn't until the citizens got involved and decided they didn't want it at any price in their backyard that the City Council in Rochester Hills changed their mind. So it's important that people know what's going on, and the only way to do that is through local news sources, because some of the bigger papers aren't going to cover issues like that.
I want this to be a real community news source where nonprofits can get their press releases out and the whole community can be involved in what we're doing. And the other thing that is really important to me is that the citizens know what's going on in this community. Before Bruce started the Rochester Citizen, there was no news about what was going on at the city council meetings, and there was a lot of things that happened that didn't get reported. And I think the work that we did on the water reservoirs in Rochester Hills really helped turn that around, and I really feel that we're doing a community service here.
And we're also looking at, obviously it takes a little bit of money, so we're looking for some local advertisers, for some local businesses that are willing to, that like what we do, and we hopefully help them grow their businesses.